Hello, welcome back to From Soft Serve. And you might be thinking, why are you making a new character? Well, uh, yesterday I was working on Northern Undead Asylum again, as it's something I always come back to every once in a while, because I'm like, alright, I'm not fully happy with this yet. It's at a stable point, but there were definitely enhancements I wanted to make. Some are artistic changes, to be honest, but we'll see what you guys think. Yeah, you can already see this looks different. It's a little too bright, but I'm tweaking that. Skip that. So this room is the same thus far. Still got the light, pretty nice, pretty nice. I have changed this to match the interior of other portions of Undead Asylum. The coloring, like before, it was much more, well, it was kind of this color. And it's a subtle change, but it's one that I'm like, I don't know, it just feels more cohesive to me. It kind of matches where the stray demon is as well. And it's not everywhere in the Undead Asylum, as I'll show you. But no, so this, I also at the same time finally stripped out the baked lighting. Because if you remember from a previous video, I was having issues where I couldn't turn on a shadow source, and I couldn't even do like shadow destination on these map pieces, because then the illumination from these torches would turn off. Well, now that I learned the trick, which is I went through every single one of these torches and I created by default they're SFX 530, which is like your, run-of-the-mill torch that Dark Souls 1 uses. I changed it to, well, I kept the 530. I underneath added 511. 511 is another style of illumination. It's sort of kind of has that little glow around it, but it successfully illuminates onto map pieces, even if it is set as a shadow source or shadow destination. So, kind of patchwork here, I added that to all of them, so now you get illumination from it. You get nice illumination onto the actual map pieces themselves and the architecture, which I think actually looks really nice. It gives you that really nice wet stone look. I haven't messed with the specular at all. That's just how that material looks. I do plan on tweaking things still, because there's definitely an issue down here I have to look into. Looks a little strange. I haven't messed with Stray Demon's room at all, so we'll get to that. But yeah, I basically swapped out the textures, which just basically is going into the Fiverr files and exchanging in the material entries. You basically just take it from one, copy it onto the other, take it from one, copy it onto the other, and it works really well. So this is the interior that it's always been, but I basically copied that into the rest of sort of like these tunnels, right? I think it makes a lot of sense. I don't know, I really like it. So I added the fake 511, well, not fake, but I added the 511 SFX to these two torches, so you get this nice illumination from it. And I think it actually looks really nice. I also changed out the water to be reflective of the actual scene itself. There's currently an issue where the sky, I think, is showing up on the periphery here. I need to look into that. I think that would be because this water was never set to actually reflect the map pieces. It was just meant to be a simple kind of reflection that didn't really have much detail in it. I think that their render or their reflection plane is set slightly incorrectly. So I'll look at that. But it's only in this area that it's inaccurate. So we have that. I have not messed with this top area, I don't think. Yeah, you can kind of see it's the same color here. But I will be looking at that. Oh, I think it did the walls, but I haven't done the pillar portions. So I will switch that out. The other thing I'm currently working on is, yeah, you can actually see the Asylum Demon straight through this hole, which is really cool. There's a thing about this main little portion of the asylum is that, there's a big hole in the ceiling, right? Because that's where the Asylum Demon jumps through. But funny enough, depending on where you're at, and in DS Map Studio specifically, you'll see that it's completely covered up and there is no hole. But that's because they use a top map portion that are set into two different portions of the front and the back. And depending on where you're at the map, it will cover it up completely. And that was kind of their crafty solution. And I was like, what if we could have it always be open? That's kind of where my mind went, right? So right now it is open, but on the exterior, I think I fucked up some things. So we'll see. Let's go down here. You can see as you come in here, this is actually the first hallway I switched to the new system because I had issues with the illumination and a couple different things. So I thought, you know what? Let's just see how it looks. And turns out, it looks awesome. I love it. I genuinely love it. I think it just looks right. You know, like I love the illumination from the torches hitting the walls here. So I'm just super happy with how it turned out. Once again, you have the water. I had to do, quite a few tweaks here to get the things reflecting, as not all of them were set to reflect, of course, as that was not the original intention. You can see the illumination actually shows up in the reflection, but the particle effect does not. I do not know how to get the particle effect to show up. You can also see the water does stretch out here. Kind of looks a little goofy. There's a little bit of Fresnel weirdness going on. Oh yeah, I have yet to... Yeah, okay, let me... While we're here... Ooh, target shield. You love to see it. While we're here, do I have... Yes, I do have it up. Good, so I'm already in Northern Undead Asylum. The good thing is I keep it running most of the time. I don't keep the game running, although that has happened too. Oh, I just realized. One other thing is there is water in the Asylum Demon. Yeah, let's show that real quick, actually. So it's actually really easy to switch out the water at this point because I've done it so many times that it's not that hard. I've learned the quickest trick to do it. So we can see it's controlled by M300. So we need to go into, I think I have it. Or whoa, is this an older folder I had open? I had a lot of folders open. Yeah, okay, here we go. Oof. Let me close that one. I clearly had an old one open that I forgot about. Let's close that. So we have M1801, which is Northern Undead Asylum. We need to go to 300, which we have 300, and I have never messed with 300. So there's another thing I'll do while I'm here. Not that I think it's actually necessary, but I always find it just good to do, which is the back-facing rendering. Just while you're here, just set all the back faces to render. Just get that out of the way. Easy peasy. So let's go into the materials. And we can see, we don't even need to hop into the 0 to 11, because that's what's showing down here. And you basically surf through here and find the water. And it's using A13 Water Lake WE.mtd. And I found the quickest way is basically just to switch it to A16. And that happens to have reflective water, looks great. And those are the two things you need to change. You hit modify, actually I think modify JSON, if I remember correctly. I don't think I need to hit that last modify, but such is life. So we yabber that up, and we should be good to go, and it should now be reflective water. The only thing is, you can see it's not set to draw by the reflect cam. So we're actually going to set these pillars, because they are actually objects, so I cannot select them along with the map pieces, as that will not allow me to edit their settings. So we're going to hit draw by reflect cam. Excellent. Draw by reflect cam. He should be, ooh, okay. So actually this is really cool. So now the stray demon is going to be reflected in the water itself, which I think should actually look awesome. Oh yeah, so let's set this to draw by the reflect cam, because if you don't get the thing set to draw, it will actually just draw what is set to draw by the reflect cam, which makes perfect sense. It will draw the sky if the sky is set, which it is. I need to change these torches later. I won't bore you guys with that. It's not a very fun thing to look at. I'll add the 511 underneath each one of these, and that should help with the illumination. I have not stripped the bake lighting, I think, out of this map piece. So that is TDB. I'll do that today, though. And I just wanted a quick thing. We're going to end the video in Firelink Shrine. I have to remember that. I made another change there. Let's see. Where are we going? Where are we going? Yes. I tend to fly like correctly through it just to keep like the order of where I'm going because I tend to forget. So which one is this? This is M90, which, oh, I don't, is this water actually set as, yeah, sorry, I'm flying through the geometry here. Um, that is M90. Let's open up M90 real quick, because yeah, okay. So M90 is not this map piece. Got it. So M90 is the water I already changed, I believe. So that makes sense. So this one is already set to a shadow source destination. Got it. Easy peasy. As you'll notice, I also have my M18 folder up, which handles the textures for M18, which encompasses Northern Undead Asylum and the Kiln of the First Flame. So 1801 I found to be the one that has most of the textures stored in. So I already ripped out the textures for the lighting map for 90. So M110. As you can tell, these are the ones I've already opened, so I've not opened 110 yet. Interesting. So let's yabber that open. Let's take a look. Okay, we got no illumination, as we can even tell when floating in DS Map Studio. There's no torch inside of that little alcove there, which is a real shame. In the future, I'd like to actually, I do plan to make a map piece or an object that is literally just like a torch sconce, so I can add it to more areas that I want that I could originally want to. So look forward to that. I do plan to place them strategically, as I think that could enhance the game for certain areas that could use the torches. And now that I know how to actually do the illumination itself, it should actually be pretty cash money, if I do say so. Okay, so now we have 110 correctly taken the baked lighting out of it. It's already set as a shadow source and destination. It is already set to be drawn by the reflect cam, which is great. I think by stripping out the baked lighting, we might actually be able to have light come through this, because it's actually kind of on its own here. And there is a hole in the ceiling. Although, there's another change I need to make, because I think this would actually screw up on its own. So here's 110. I guess I had already unpacked the 110 DCX. I don't remember for what. Maybe I was just looking at it for some reason. But while we're here, let's do the back facing, just in case I hadn't done it. Because most of these meshes do not have back faces. And so when you turn it to be a shadow source, it will cast shadows on, and light will come into it that basically shouldn't come into it, is the quick answer to that. I'm going to do 300 again, because I don't remember if I DCX'd it. So let's do that. Unfortunately, I do have to close Northern Undead Asylum. While we're here, let's go into map and copy over my map studio. I've gotten better about just copying the map studio folder, because that's the one that handles the MSB changes and not texture or model file changes, because I'm not currently doing that, and the folder I'm in here for the models is already inside of the game folder, so I'm directly editing them, which may not be the smartest thing, but personally I find that, you know, they all have a .back file when you do this Yabber related stuff, so you can always you can take back the settings or the changes. So for me, it works fine. So I've closed this map studio. I now need to log out of the game very quickly, as that will stop it from being able to yabber the texture changes that I've made. Let's yabber those changes. Okay, we've repacked it. Let's log back in. And presumably the room should be brighter now. Maybe too... Oh, I think that's the light coming in. Oh, okay. I'll have to look at this again. I think I need to do the back facing possibly for this mesh as well. Because there should be light coming in here, and there is. It's just too much lighting. Kind of cool though. It's kind of a nice look to see how it functions, but yeah, it's slightly too much light. I can fix that though. Yeah, I wonder if, let's see, let's open up a little. I always end up, when I'm making these videos, I'm always like, I'm just going to show the stuff. It's going to be cool. But I know you guys really enjoy when I just dive into something and I just start working on it, because I do want to show the process. I never want it to seem like I'm hiding information or techniques, or because usually the way I'm doing it, I think, is usually pretty busted ass technique or like duct tape. So it's not, I don't think it's any sort of like miracle solution. It's usually pretty stupid. So let's see if M90 is this map piece. Is that causing the lighting issue here? Because as you can see, when you hover over this, it doesn't have back facing, but I set it to have back face rendering, so I would have thought that would have fixed it. Unless, yeah, see, there's no other map piece above it. My other solution is to use one of these little flat planes that I created and duplicated in many spots to essentially help with getting rid of the hero lighting on the character. So it looks really dumb in DS Map Studio, but you know, you don't see it in the game, thankfully. I had to work to get it to not be viewable by the game, because it would have looked real dumb. I guess let's double, triple check that we did M90 face rendering. I'm fairly certain we did, but you know, could be wrong on that. I wouldn't put it past me. So we do that modify. We don't do that modify. Let's change, or let's DCX that. Okay. Does that stop the light from coming in? Maybe. If not, I have another idea. It did not. Interesting. Huh. Yeah, it's almost like it's receiving the light from this side. Interesting. Oh yeah, and you can tell that it's the walls of this mesh that are interesting. Like it's just putting a shadow on this, but it's not doing a shadow on the wall itself. All right, this map piece is a little wonky here. Let's see. So this is going to be duct tape solution, but to be honest, that's actually a lot of what Dark Souls needs. So I'm going to take one of these planes, copy it. Uh-oh. There it is. Okay. It's a bit big for my taste, to be honest. I it's kind of hoping to be a little smaller. I can definitively shrink it by doing the scale of 0.5, and we will see if I can tinker something together here. We'll see. I don't recommend this for everything, but these are usually like good in-between solutions. I think what I'll do is, instead of utilizing the actual hole that is on this mesh, because it was originally set for something like that, what I'll basically do is encompass this in a box. And it's going to be really stupid, but I think it's actually going to work. So I basically want to surround the hole here, which is really stupid, but it's super cheap to render because it's a flat plane. It's not geometrically anything. And I'm simply boxing off this little area. And I think, let's see. I want to see if it's noticeable from this height. I don't think it is. So I think we might be good to change it to a draw group of 0. I just want to make like triple sure that it is actually going to render. Let's see. All right. Oh, the things you'll do for Dark Souls modding. A lot of fun though. You can get really creative with sort of fixing things in Dark Souls Remastered. Because there's just so many problems that they were hiding, or it's just game development. Specifically back then, like these issues are things that you don't see in Dark Souls 3, because that's just not an issue they needed to have. All right, well that fixed part of it, and that now there's not light over here, which is correct. However, this portion is still incorrect because I did not place another one. I need to make a smaller... Yeah, I basically need to put one right here, which let's do that. Okay, so let's duplicate, and then we're going to make it real tiny. I'm trying to remember which... Oop. No, not that one. Aha, yes, there you go. Okay, so let's rotate this bad boy, and let's see where we get. So we see my trick here is to quickly like snap it to the direct angle I want, is I'll see it's negative 85. And so that way I know, oh, okay. So if I just go negative 90, you know, that's your next like right angle that you're looking for. Okay. I'm pretty happy with this. I like this. I like this little duct tape solution. This is great. All right, let's cover that. Let's just make sure to cover it back here as well. Okay, we're going to duplicate. And I think we might very well have a solution here. A little bit. I might need to do the actual like side. We'll see about that. This overhang might be enough that it fixes that. Yeah, let's see. Let's save my map again. All right. This is such a stupid solution, but it's also one of those where it's so stupid that it's kind of smart. I don't know. Because this is one where like I used the method of backface rendering, but it just didn't work. Why didn't it work? I don't know. That's just one of those mysteries that I don't know. This is cool. I didn't actually imagine doing this in the video, but I think we might actually have a really cool solution here. Oh, we do. It's not perfect. I still got to mess with like the light. Like the light should be stopping here. This second band of lighting shouldn't be happening. So, but this is correct. That's actually the light coming in from the ceiling. So that's actually a big visual uplift that we now have a correct like sun coming in. Okay, the other thing is a pretty quick fix, I think. Oh yeah, I can even see it. Let's see. I think I can basically duplicate and then just move it enough to where maybe it's not noticeable. I want to make sure no one can see it. That's my biggest priority. I just don't want anyone to see it. How long have I been recording? 24 minutes. Okay. I try to keep it around 30 minutes. Sometimes I go long, but I don't want to do it for like, 3 hours or anything. But I like showing the process because it's really fun. It's just so fun. Okay, let's see. Fingers crossed, fingers crossed. Hopefully it's not visible. Oh, we're close. We're very close. Is it noticeable? No, it's not. It's still not noticeable. Okay. Yeah, I have no healing and he keeps hitting me, so eventually it's going to be bad. Okay, so we know we're just a teensy bit off here. If we move this just a bit more. Oh, wait. Oh, I was I was messing with the wrong one. I was doing the green arrow. I didn't mean to do that. Okay. So let's see if ah this is gonna be a tough one. That's gonna be a tough. Oh, wait. Is that already noticeable? Oh, I think it's not noticeable when you look down from this angle regardless. Oh, that's good. So the user will never see it. Oh, well, there you go. Okay. Well, that solves that, I think. It just looks this way when you're up high a little bit. Okay, I think actually we might be good to go. I may have moved it just slightly too much. I didn't mean to spend this much time on this, but I actually think this is pretty well. It's not important, but I think it's fucking cool. I think that's my first first curse word of the episode. I got to make my way a little bit more through Undead Asylum. There's a couple more changes. Oh, baby, we got an accurate light coming in. And then we come in, it's dark. And we now have a correct... let me take a screenshot of that. Okay. Alright, let's go pick up our dagger. As this hallway is unchanged, of course. I didn't do anything with that, as I thought it looked good. Oh yeah, I need the target shield. This hallway I've also changed to now match the look of this outside area and that inside little mausoleum thingy with water. I think it's just a much more cohesive look. I think it looks great. I was surprised. I really thought like, wow, this is going to work. And no, it actually looks awesome. The other change I made is on the ground. Oh, it's still here. Oh, this is great. This is a great opportunity. So yeah, you can see I put the new torch underneath the existing torch, so we get really nice. I also boosted the alpha of the illumination, so it's a little bit stronger. It's not as because basically they baked the illumination previously into the light map, so it was like really red around the torches, a little bit too much, and so now it's an actual like. I mean, I hate to say dynamic, but like it is, like it's not baked into the textures anymore. This is an actual illumination or point light that they're using. So anyway, on the ground here, you can see this rubble, and you'll actually notice it's actually just it's just a texture that they copy pasted, and I think it's really ugly. It's just genuinely ugly. I don't really see the point in it, you know. I felt that was a strange idea. I get what they were going for. It was a cheap way of like showing that there's more rubble than just the bricks, but in the end, I don't think it looked that good. So we can easily fix this. So if we go into our model files and we open up M80 ooh, actually not this one. I forgot. We actually want to use the newest version of Fiverr Editor, which I call it Fiverr Editor. I know it's full of Fliver, but Fiverr sounds cooler. So let's open up. I was editing 15 at some point. Let's open up M80, and hopefully it's nearby. Okay, it's not terribly nearby. So we're gonna hover into this bad boy. Let's see if we get it. Okay. And you'll notice it looks a little bit different in here, but these decals we're looking to remove are these little squares. So basically, we just have to click select on things until we find the correct decal. That's the floor. We don't want to remove the floor. That would not be cash money. Okay, nope, that's some walls. Nope. Okay, are we there? Are we there? Nope. Oh, baby. We hit delete selected, save. We yabber DCX the hell out of this, and then presto changeo. Expelliarmus or whatever the Harry Potter related thing would be. Would it be called Removo or something? Destroyo? And you can now see we no longer have the frankly pretty nasty looking rubble. I don't know. I didn't like it. I get what they were going for, but I didn't like it. So cool beans. We got that. I think there's only one other thing here that I was going to show. I think from this view, they normally put the ceiling on Northern Undead Asylum. I don't know if you could see through here. There's actually an issue with, let me show you in the issue I'm having that currently hasn't been visible yet, but it will be. So the ceiling, here's the actual look of it when I have gone through and deleted. So the different files were this one and this one. They had the actual ceiling that matched up with the level of this cobblestone looking edging or whatever. And it basically covered the entire thing, which they did strategically based upon where you were at. So I removed that, so now this is always open. But as you can see, the unintended consequence is that this was never actually the same scale as the rest of the model. So I'm curious. My idea is essentially, can I steal this half of a cylindrical object, excluding the little, stone, whatever thing here. Basically, if I can go into the model file and steal this little half a cylinder tower related thing, I could basically make that its own map piece, scale it up to fit fairly nicely with this cobblestone, and I think we'll be pretty good. It won't be perfect, but I think pretty decent. Because here's the problem in that, of course, the question for me was like, whoa, why don't I just scale up, I'm right here, I could just scale up the whole thing. Well, the problem is it's connected to a lot of other things, which actually, it might be fine. No, see, it's very tied into the size of this building as it is. And so if I scaled up this whole map piece, this whole portion gets bigger as well. And that would not work. So I also looked at like these other cylindrical things. There are other ones I could steal. And so I am curious about that. We'll see. I also had to mess up this. Also, fun fact, apparently when I was doing it, I removed like this bottom portion, I think. So I got to go in game and just double check that. I can put that back. I didn't notice that was being deleted, but such is life. Let's go back to the game, because those are things I'll mess with later. Let's go open up where Oscar is. Whoop. What's up, homeboy? How we doing? You'll now see that the water in here is correct, as it now has reflections. Although that is reflecting the sky, which I think is the light. Yeah, I think it's the hole for the ceiling. That's fine. Yeah, and you see this really nice... I don't know that I've added the... Yeah, this is actually still baked textures currently. So that's why it's so dark. I am a bit curious if we, while we're here, go look at Oscar's room. And it's currently, yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, so it's currently set as not a shadow source or destination, which makes sense, as I figured that would not work, because, well, it normally does not. But now that we're going to strip out the lighting correctly, oh, actually, wait, did they patch the hole? Oh, did I cover this whole top portion? Oh, I did cover. Yeah, I covered this portion. Yeah, let's delete that for now. Let's pick 70, which I have unpacked at some point. So I did something to it. I don't know exactly what. Uh, who knows the last time I was touching Northern Undead Asylum. It's gone through many different iterations. I've reset it, I don't know how many times. Okay, so we put on backface rendering. We've turned on shadow source. We now need to go into M18. Let's go to the texture. Have we done anything with 70? We have not, because we know that it's still using a baked light map. So let's unpack this texture. Okay, so here is the actual, ooh, that's a pretty fat light map actually. That's a little bit bigger one than I'm used to. All right, so let's save it as PNG, totally white, as that's how the engine knows to basically just not render it, which is, hats off to Stade for that. That was months ago. That Stade was like, oh, by the way, which by the way, Stade, of course, is the legendary Souls modder who is creating the Flames of Old mod for DS2 and has made all kinds of mods and is brilliant. But yeah, they were like, oh, by the way, you just need to use white. And that will get rid of the light map. And I was like, you legend. So that was a long time ago. And the many stepping stones in this mod of things I've learned from people smarter than me or people that have just known a lot of more things that have come before me. So let's yabber 70. All right. Let's save our changes here. Let's see what we do here. We saved it. We need to close DS Map Studio because that's not going to work. Let's log out. I almost sliced Oscar. Whoops. Let's yabber this portion up. Good. Let's copy our Map Studio over for our MSB changes. Oh my god, I've been recording for 37 minutes. God damn. Okay, I copied over the changes, backface rendering. We did our quick little thing, so let's see what happens. Oh, it actually looks pretty good. Although it actually kind of got rid of the sun shafts. Interesting. And then the illumination from the torch mostly disappeared. But that was to be expected. So wait, this is the light coming in. Oh, okay. I wonder if I'll be able to do the... yeah, because basically the sun is set to a different direction than when these... to where this manual sun shaft is set to. So that's why you'll see the sun coming in here. But then this is clearly in the wrong direction. But such is life. Really quickly, I will show you how I do the change for the underlying illumination, basically. So let's open up DS Map Studio again. And it should load back to our previous project. Let's load up Northern Undead Asylum. Yeah, this is probably going to be a fat episode, but you guys seem to like that, so I respect that. Get to Oscar's room. Back over here. I always find it weird that Oscar doesn't actually show up. I think it's set as like enemy 02. Kind of weird that it's not like... I don't know, I just find it weird that he doesn't actually show up, but such is life. Yeah, you can tell that they manually did like the sun shafts, so that's kind of a... that sucks, but... and then they... seems like there's this other hole over here that they like... I don't know, they like welded up or something. But anyway, so we can see the point light and the torch and all the things are basically right here. So here's how I do it decently quickly. So the first thing we have is a region point, which handles where, like the actual coordinates of where the particle effect is going to show up. So you open up your region, scroll down to this one here. I've added up till, I think 36, I want to say. You basically numerically keep adding to the list here. So if we copy this, oh no, I guess I've gone up to 40. Well, all right. Oh yeah, there's 39. No, there's no 40. Got it. Oh no, there's 40. All right, 41. So basically, the first thing you copy is it's basically going to stay in the exact same location as the existing SFX 530 torch particle effect. So we have 41. We now open up our light and SFX because these are the two other things you need to change. And basically what I do is I click back on this. You'll see there's two things referencing that original point that I copied. There is a light, which will now be in this list, and we have it currently selected. It will not be represented physically on the map. So I copy it. You'll see it listed as 42. They're currently offset with, instead of copying it or making it as a 41 like it did in the region, it will set it to 42, but you basically just rename it here to what you want, which is 41, 41. You keep the point light ID the same because 15 is what we're using. Then you need to make sure the event ID, it needs to be unique. So basically I go to the last one I've made, which should be 40. And so you'll see it's in a row here. So 36, 37, you'll see 104, 105, 106, 107, 108. And so then this new one will be 109. And you basically just have to make sure that this event ID is not used by another light in this list. Pretty easy, you just surf through. They're usually numerically ordered, but this map is actually pretty simple. And it's not, like Undead Burg is way more, packed with lights. So this is actually pretty easy. So we do 109. Then we go in here. Now what you could do is, if I forget what it is, it's basically 25, 25, 25. There's three things that are all in the same spot. But the next thing we need to add is the SFX. And so what I do is go to the SFX, and then I duplicate it from here. It's 42. Now what you could do is, instead of copying the one that was here, you could actually just go to the one you made previously. Technically you can copy any of these. You could duplicate any of these and then just change it to 41. So you don't actually need to do this because the only thing that handles the coordinates of where it's going to show up is the region point. The other two, the SFX and the light thing, don't matter as far as coordinates, so you don't actually need to duplicate the thing that is standing here as far as the SFX and the light, if that makes sense. The one thing you do need to make sure here is, so we need to rename it to 41, 41, as that's our next thing. Well, actually, I kind of take that back. I take that back a little bit. And the reason for that is, I don't actually remember if this completely affects it, but I think it does. So you see the part name here, that's like the collision, so H0013B1. So now I remember, that's why I do go back to the original one that was there, so the 25, and I duplicate that because it takes along the part name with it, and because they have different ones based upon where they're at. I think I've tested it, and it doesn't necessarily 100% relate to that, but just for kicks and just to be careful, I do tend to copy that. We do need to change the effect ID from 530 to 511, so it's going to be underneath it. 530 is the standard torch. 511 is a different style of illumination, I think originally used for candles of some sort. So once again, you need to make sure the event ID is unique. So I usually go back to the last one I made, which was 43, was the event ID. And you can see here the part name is different because this one is in a different area. So we need to set it to 44. There we go. And so now if we save it, so you can see how that's a bit laborious, right? Like, it is. Unfortunately, setting lights in Dark Souls Remastered is like 5 times more laborious than it is in Dark Souls 2 or 3. Dark Souls 2 or 3, you just grab that bad boy and you just copy it and you just drag it wherever you want. That's it. And it physically shows up, but here you have to copy 3 different things. So it's a little laborious, but it's not too bad. So here's kind of the before, and presto changeo, we will now add some illumination because the baked lighting map turned off basically where they had painted illumination, right? And now we have some illumination. And I think it looks pretty cool. And it's kind of limited to inside that little alcove, which makes sense. I think technically I could move the point light a little bit, but whatever. Good progress. We need to, I will, after this, look into the map piece here and see if I can, like, separate out those light shafts, because I think making it a shadow source, unfortunately they're connected, so I think that kind of killed that, unfortunately. But I think I should be able to put that back, ideally. Or maybe I move Oscar to the other side, which would be stupid, but yeah, let's log out just real quick, because I did do something else pretty cool. Let's load up Pussy Slayer 69. Such a stupid name. I always forget that that's his name. I don't remember where he's at. Ah, god damn it. That's Dark Sign. Fingers crossed. We're going to Firelink Shrine, baby. Okay, let's go. Let's warp this bad boy. Let's warp, and I did something I've been wanting to do for quite a while. It did create some issues, and I'm not done yet. Basically, I added the real Undead Burg to the Firelink Shrine map. So no longer are we using the fake Undead Burg, which was, to be honest, a pretty good fake. It really was. It was quite the convincing fake. But I thought, you know what? While I'm at it, like, why not do the actual one? And so there were actually quite a few issues that came up with that. To be honest, there was map pieces that were showing up, because this is actually a delicate balance here. This is where the intersection between the two maps are, and so you can kind of get issues where some of my previous changes will start loading. But here you can see the real Undead Burg. It's pretty cool. So, it actually, I originally copied the big wall here from Undead Burg because it's like identical, but there was a key change. The Undead Burg version of this giant wall actually, as well you would expect, cuts off the aqueduct tunnel. And so it's actually just blocked off. So you have to use the Firelink Shrine version of that until you're through the aqueduct, and then it'll swap over to the Undead Burg version of this wall. The goofy things that you learn from that. There's still some other issues too that I need to hide, but we'll get to that. And let's go over here, because I also added something else from the Undead Burg map. This distant geometry. This map piece was not a part of Firelink Shrine, which I thought was kind of weird. Like, they mostly just had, I think, a lot of clouds and whatnot. But I thought it was kind of a missed opportunity, because there's like all these really cool walls. There's a town over there. That's awesome. So I added this whole thing to Firelink Shrine. I think you'll get an even better view over from the graveyard. But yeah, I thought this kind of just added some depth to the scene. Now you'll see it's not perfect, because the original thing for Firelink Shrine is kind of down there. Although I need to remember where Blighttown is in relation to Firelink Shrine. I think that's my only issue. I do need to remember if it's like down this way, or I have to look, because I get turned around a little bit. But so I thought this was cool. Small change. Okay, I'm under an hour, so hell yeah. So if you enjoyed this video, liking it helps out a lot. You guys have been absolutely destroying things. And it's been really enjoyable. So hopefully, you enjoy this video. Hit the like button and share it if you know Dark Souls nerds that really enjoy this kind of nerdy shit. And beyond that, maybe subscribe, because I post mostly daily, and weird Dark Souls things, and unraveling the development mystery, and how this game kind of functions, and hopefully that kind of adds to your experience of playing it. And I know it has for me, to see kind of behind the curtain of all these tricks and different things they were doing to make it look like a cohesive world. And it's just such a brilliant job that they did. So to be able to enhance it in any way just feels really cool. So I really enjoy it. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.